Oh, thank you, Tom. That would. Thank you. Sound is important. I'm not sure if I did before. Oh man, it's already time. I thought I'd do it early. What is y'all's clock say?
9:58.
Okay, we're gonna give it 2 minutes then, since that people come in. We just got notified it's live, so. Okay. So we got a couple of minutes, everybody, couple minutes. You know, when you're far apart, you know, it's up to y'all what you want to do. If you stay, if you keep a distance, you don't have to keep them.
Really?
Yeah, if you keep a distance, you know, just,
I can't breathe.
yeah, for,
Well, I mean, I just don't want it right now.
right, and for long periods of time. That's hard. We're just waiting a couple minutes, everybody, letting people come in. For YouTube is working, so readable version of the slide over on YouTube. Of course, it was working in the beginning last week too, so but it is working. We started it early and it's going well. Okay. Clicker. Hold on, everybody. I gotta find my clicker. I just had it in my hand, so I'm gonna look around. Oh, there it is. It's hiding underneath this. I thought I put it up here. Okay. Good morning, everybody. Happy Packer Day. Happy first day of Packers games. I'm in Wisconsin, and most of you probably watching are in Wisconsin too. But if you're not, it's a thing here. It's a thing. The Green Bay Packers. Yeah, and Brenda's here. She's wearing her sweatshirt. I tried to find mine. I do own a Green Bay Packers t-shirt, and I tried to find it, but I couldn't find it. I was gonna wear it. I really was gonna wear it, but it didn't work out. All right. So enough about my wardrobe. Let's take a minute to pause and just get centered in this moment. And I invite you to just close your eyes or relax your gaze and take a moment to just pause. To have a powerful, purposeful pause. Just breathe. Just notice. Notice any sounds you hear. This moment is perfect, just as it should be. We are perfect, just as we should be. We open our hearts and our minds, and we know that we will be guided during this time. We will be pointed toward our own wisdom and knowing the truth that is in us always. One more breath. And so it is. So today I want to start by giving you an update. Don't worry, I'm not talking about the Dow, but I do want to give you an update from last week. So we talked about the Dow for several weeks, but I told you a story last week, and it was as soon as I read the verse that said, "Can you deal with the most vital matters by letting events take their course," right? So those things that feel really important in the moment, can we just surrender and allow ourselves to be moved, right? Rather than us trying to force or fix it or try to find the answer, we just pause, we surrender, and we align with that divine intelligence. So I told you the story about the driveway last week, and I'll refresh your memory in case you weren't here. So we're getting a new driveway. Long story, but we needed a new driveway. It was terrible. Like you couldn't even use the snow plow because it's all cracked up. It was really, really bad. So we were getting this new driveway. We've been waiting for months for the contractor to finally come and do the driveway. And he finally gets to work last Friday. Yes, last Friday. He begins work. And while I'm picking the kids up from school, apparently the building inspector for the village of Kimberly came and said, you can't do this. You don't have a permit, blah, blah, blah. And we were expanding the driveway. So we're not just repouring, we're expanding. So they have to okay it, which I don't know why our contractor didn't tell us that, but that's how it was. So, and I knew that what I was to do, it felt important. The thing felt important. So I knew that what I needed to do was nothing. I needed to surrender and know that I would be guided and moved in the way that we should be. So both Keith and I did that. And so this was Labor Day weekend. Okay. So when this happened, it was Friday, which meant we weren't going to be able to get to anybody Saturday, Sunday, or Monday because it was Labor Day. Right. So we're doing all this research to figure out what in the world we need to get this permit and all these things. And I knew not to label the situation, to not judge it. It was what it was. We even had the neighbor that called the building inspector, came to the porch and talked about suing us. It all felt very vital. And so what happened is we needed to do a drawing. Keith did a drawing. And then we found out, I looked up, how do we do this? How do we get this drawing to the village inspector? How does that happen? And I looked it up. And apparently this guy is totally part-time. He's retired. So he's part-time. And he's only in the office Tuesday mornings from 7 to 8. Right. But guess what? This was Monday. It was Labor Day. So I was looking it up for Monday. So it was going to be the next morning that we could get to somebody. So the universe was working for us. It was happening. And so we did. And what happened is Keith went and met the building inspector, got the okay and approval. So don't worry. We have a driveway, everybody. And this is what the coolest thing. So apparently the building inspector is a retired woodworker. He's a retired carpenter, and he doesn't want to do work, but he has all these people in Kimberly that he's worked for over the years that call him to do things. Well, guess what Keith is? A carpenter. And so the guy came in, he showed him his shop. The guy said, oh my gosh, I'm just going to send him to you. What's your number? And so this situation, how we labeled this situation bad, we would have completely shown up for it in a different way. Keith would have been angry and upset. And what are the chances that this man would want to give, his clients over to Keith if he was angry and upset? But we knew that we were just to let it be. And so that is, remember this story? Well, I'm not going to go there, but that I know now, because I have history, right? I have a history of, okay, I let the vital matter, I let the events take their course, and it worked out. So every time you do that, your ego takes notice and it starts to become quieter because it knows that it's going to be safe, right? And so I really wanted to tell you guys that I loved that this story ended the way that it did. I'm so glad it happened. We are better off because it happened, right? Okay, so that was my update from last week. So I want to get her name right, so I'm going to look it up. And I'm going to give you her quote as soon as I can turn my page. Okay, so her name is Sari Gilman. This is Sari Gilman. She wrote a book on boundaries and boundary setting. And this is her quote. Every life is a story, and your story is being shaped by what you say yes to and what you say no to. That's Sari Gilman. I'm going to say it again. Every life is a story, and your story is being shaped by what you say yes to and what you say no to. She has, in her book, she talks about visualizing that you have a compass, right? And this is the compass, the best I could do. So you visualize that you have a compass. And in every situation, in every relationship, in every event that comes up in your life, you can say yes to it or no to it. And you've got a compass. And that compass is there to protect you, to make sure that you're okay, right? And so if you will let it, if you will go within and check in with your compass as to what to say, and see, to me, this is just another, I think you can replace compass with your Christ nature, right? With your higher self. And this compass, if you ask, what am I to do? It will give you that within you is already the answer. Already the yes or no is in there. Okay. So one of the things that she talked about, I totally lost my thought. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, okay. So the compass is leading you to your highest good, right? That's what's happening. Boundaries. And so this is about boundaries. This is the recognition that, and I wrestle with this all the time. I think you guys do too. When we know that we're one, when we know that there's oneness and that we share that, and there really is only one of us here, it's difficult to understand why we would say no, right? Why would we say no to a person or no to a situation if we're all one, right? But see, here's the thing. While we appear to be separate bodies, while we are here, and it looks like there's a Tom, and it looks like there's a Brenda, and it looks like there's a Janice, and it looks like there's a Lydia. While we're here in separate bodies as separate selves, we're meant to have the experience of separation. We're meant to have it. That's why we're here. And so, yes, we are one, but that does not mean that we always say yes to one another. A situation kept coming up over and over again this week. It was boundaries. And I want to tell you and share with you a little bit about what happened for me. So it was early last week. Oh, remember when I told you guys the story of how I felt heavy, right? And so I knew I needed to get light. And so I talked to my friend Mary, and she's like, here are the things. And I said, I'm going to meditate. I'm going to walk. I'm going to do all these things. And in that conversation, she said, because I always think to myself, why do I have a block against exercise? Like, why am I not exercising more? What's the deal, Lydia? Just exercise, right? And she said, Lydia, you move so much. I bet you already get in the amount of steps that you need. And so I was really inspired. So I got a watch, right? And I know everybody else did this like 3 years ago or 4 years ago, but for me, it happened this week. So I get this watch, and I won't say the name. I don't know if it matters, but anyway, I get this watch and I put it on, and it tracks, right? It tracks your steps. So just so you know, I actually go over the steps every day without trying to, every single day. So she's right. I really do move around that much. But the other benefit to this watch, and I wasn't anticipating it. It tracks, it monitors your pulse while you sleep, right? And so on last Sunday, this is the first day I had it, was last Sunday. And last Sunday, a very difficult situation went on with another person, right? With another self. And it was a situation in which I needed to have a boundary, right? I needed to have a boundary, but it was very difficult for me to do that. Well, that night I went to sleep, and I got up the next day. There was all this stress that happened the day before. I got up and I looked at the little app on my phone that monitored my pulse, and it said that I got 12 minutes of sleep, 12 minutes of deep sleep. I got like 32 minutes of REM, and I was in bed for 9 hours. I was asleep for 9 hours. The rest was light sleep and then awake times. I literally am getting to see the data, like the data that yes, the data or data? Do you say data or data? Okay, good. Brenda says I could say both. I'm actually seeing the data of what stress does, because what stress does is it clouds over this compass. And so it gets really difficult to know what I'm supposed to do, and what do I say yes to? What do I say no to, right? Well, that day, I got very clear that this was a moment where I needed to have a boundary. And the boundaries are about... So I appear to be Lydia in this life, and we talk about this all the time. So what is my number one job in this life? My number one job is to take care of Lydia. Not in a selfish way, but to take care of her, to nurture her. Of course, taking care of her means, also taking care of those she loves. So, but first and primarily, it's take care of Lydia, right? And so that next day, I knew that I needed to have boundary. I needed to do it. And so I had a difficult conversation. And the next night, I had like 6 hours of deep sleep, 2 hours of REM. Like completely changed. The data completely changed. So here's the thing, we know that when you set a boundary, it's going to bring out emotions in other people. They're going to have an emotion, and usually it is anger, right? We have to be willing to have that short moment of discomfort when they're angry, because in the long run, it's the better choice. Why do we need to have boundaries? Because our boundaries are leading us to our purpose. They're leading us to give the gift of ourself to this life. It is leading us to our essence, to the truth of who we are. So when I say no to someone, when my compass tells me I need to say no, that's a boundary, right? When my compass tells me that I need to say that, saying no is actually getting closer to my essence. Can you feel that? It's getting closer to my essence. It is leading you to your highest good. And here's the cool thing about highest good. My highest good and your highest good are the same thing. I cannot know what your highest good is, but I can know what mine is. And I can trust that when I follow my compass and I am looking for my highest good, I am serving all those around me. Even if I have to say no to someone and they get angry, I'm serving them too, right? And the way to get in touch with this compass is through our Christ nature. That's what we do. There's a pause. The recognition is that if you're under a lot of stress, it's going to be very, very difficult for you to hear your yes and your no, right? And so I have a suggestion for you. There is my friend Mary, remember when I had the conversation that said I was so heavy, she told me to go, and look this up. And she did this DBT therapy for many years, and they give you a list of distracting, pleasurable activities, right? Because this is about self-care. And it says things like take a bubble bath, do karaoke, read comic books. Read comic books, that's hilarious. Meditate, read a magazine. It's just a list. So I printed this out and I put it on my dresser so that I would see that when I get stressed, because I told you I was feeling heavy and I wanted to get light again. When I'm feeling stressed, I know that I need some kind of self-care. And sometimes it's really difficult for me to tell what self-care is at that moment, especially if I'm in overwhelm, especially if there is a stressful situation going on. And so we must get quiet and drown out the noise. So meditation, obviously, a pause is enough. A pause is enough. Just a breath. So you can respond with your yes or your no. So I'll leave you with this. I know that it is very difficult to have hard conversations, especially with people we love, because very often what we're having to say yes or no to is the people that we love. And it's very difficult because we want to please them. There is a part of us that wants to please them, that wants to make them happy. And that part does things that appear to be helpful, but it's not truly helpful. Truly helpful is listening to the yes and the no and being willing to have the hard conversation when it's no. So, and this goes for situations too. We have a compass that tells us, is this situation, is there a boundary here? Do I need to put a boundary? And we do it with love. This person, this relationship, do I need to put a boundary? Right? So your compass, just imagine your compass. I did this all day yesterday. I imagined I had the compass in my hand and I would take a pause before I would do something, before I, answered a question or someone asking me to do something, because I had many people asking me to do things yesterday in my house, and I would take a breath. And I actually said no to my son. I said, no, I'm going to go sit down upstairs and I'm going to watch Netflix. So it's really, really important. Your yes and your no. Love does not always say yes. Your Christ nature does not always say yes. It doesn't always say yes. And it's okay. And it is right that we have boundaries. All right, let's pray for a minute. And I really wanted to do a longer kind of prayer meditation today. So there's going to be some quiet time that comes up here. Okay, we're going to get quiet. We're going to get centered where we are. And I think I'm going to invite you to bring to mind a situation, a relationship, some place that you can feel that you're questioning, is there a boundary here? Do I need to put a boundary here? Bring that to your mind. Just slowly, slowly think about that. And if you don't have a situation like that, you're just going to use this time to be willing to get that channel clear so that you can clearly hear your yes and your no when it is time to do a boundary. All right, so let's take a breath in through our nose, out through our mouth. We're just resting. It is hard to say no. And so we take this moment to allow ease, to allow the truth of who we are to speak to us. We embrace and affirm that we are here to be truly helpful to ourselves. We know that when we do that, we are truly helpful to others. In this moment of quiet, I invite in my yes and my no. I am willing to hear you. I am willing to listen. I open my heart and my mind now. Wisdom and guidance is here now, expressing itself in all that I think and say and do. I am open. I am committed to healthy boundaries, to creating those healthy boundaries. And I let my Christ nature be my compass. One more breath together, everybody. And out. And as you are ready, you can open your eyes. I had, what was it? 1, 2, 3, 4 people this week that I talked to, and I'm included in that 4, that had boundaries as a theme in their life. And so I really have come to see through doing this, through talking to you guys every Sunday, that any part of you that tells you that you're alone and that your troubles are just your troubles and everybody else is doing okay, it's just not true. We all are having the same struggle in different bodies. And yes, it plays itself out differently. There are different characters in our story, but all of us are navigating these kinds of things. And that is why supporting one another is so, so important. Finding, an evolved relationship that you can, this person can mirror to you and give you perspective when you lose it for a moment, when you're stressed and your compass gets clouded over, right? It's so, so important. And really and truly, we're just not alone. We're just not alone. All of us are navigating this stuff. So the daily word today, I chose it. Y'all, our September daily words have not come in. Rosella, if you're listening, could you call them? So this is the daily word. It is a Unity Worldwide publication. It's a daily devotional that has an affirmation and a verse and just a small little devotion. And I chose truth. And this, for those of you who are wondering, it's Monday, August 3rd. I speak honor and celebrate my truth. I have a truth within me that is uniquely mine. Exploring my spiritual nature, I discern that I am an expression of God, wise, whole, loving, and free. Delving deeper into my attitudes and beliefs, I discover the ideals I hold true and most dear to my heart. Kindness and compassion, generosity and honesty. Every day I have opportunities to speak and act with integrity. As I express who I am, what I believe, and what I stand for, I shine the light of truth, with a capital T, from my being outward, realizing that expressing individuality is each person's right. I choose to listen to others with respect and honor their truths. I have the courage to be who I am and the willingness to accept others as they are. Each of us has the power to honor the truth of others. And the verse is 1 Kings 17 through 24. The word of the Lord in your mouth is truth. The word of the Lord in your mouth is truth, it says. And it's actually 17 verse 24. Isn't that good? We honor integrity. Integrity is being in alignment with our yes and our no and committing to it. That's acting in integrity, right? And from our Christ nature. We already prayed. Already did the daily word. All right, let's do our vision, mission, and values. Our world powerfully transformed through shared spiritual awakening, and our mission, advancing the movement of spiritual awakening and transformation through unity, a positive path for spiritual living. And our values, abundance, acceptance, community, diversity, integrity, joy, and love. And we celebrate our kiddos. There's no munching and mindfulness today. Unity of Appleton sees the divinity in all children and nurtures their unfolding spirituality. And our moment of gratitude. So I invite us all to close our eyes or just relax our gaze and bring to mind a person, a situation, something that you feel thankful for. Bring that person, bring that situation to your mind. Smile. And as you breathe, say, thank you. There it is. We tapped into the energy of gratitude, which is always available to us in every moment. And doing that shifts us back with divine intelligence. So let's do our affirmation of prosperity. Unity of Appleton is alive with the energy of spirit and the flow of divine abundance and radiant with unlimited possibilities. And I just want to say thank you, everybody, for continuing to give and mailing in your checks and doing PayPal. For those of you on Facebook, there is a link there. If you feel inspired to share a gratitude offering, anything is great. $5 doesn't matter. We are grateful for whatever you can give. All right, so celebration of giving and receiving. Divine love in and through me blesses and multiplies all that I am, all that I have, all that I joyfully give and willingly receive. I give in love and I trust God as my source. All right, a prayer for protection. And, oh, wow, I did good. 10:30. All right, look at that, everybody. I knew the Packers game. I know everybody's just thinking about that. All right, let's do the prayer of protection together. The light of God surrounds us. The love of God enfolds us. The power of God protects us. The presence of God watches over us. Wherever we are, God is, and all is well. Okay, so we'll chat. I'll see you at, let's do 10:40. So we'll give it 10 minutes. So we do a chat after this, everybody. You can join us on YouTube, but you won't be able to type in. But for those of you who are members, just join us via the Unity of Appleton members only. And again, you can watch on YouTube. You just won't be able to type in the chat. Okay, see you guys in a minute. I'm turning you off. Finish. Yes, I'm finished. Finish over here. Finish over here.